Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Shadowhunters, 2 episodes. Episode 307, titled Salt in the Wound, which premiered Tuesday, May 1st, 2018 on Freeform, as well as episode 208, titled A Heart of Darkness, which premiered on Tuesday, May 8th, 2018 on Freeform. I'm watching them both on Netflix, and I am recording on May 14th. Just finished watching the episodes last night. So a huge spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episodes already, please go do so first, then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. My other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. Fair warning, if you hear any pages rustling, that is due to my notes being on a whole bunch of different pages today instead of all on my laptop, which I do not have this weekend. So I'm going to try to do this in 25 minutes just to give myself some time to flip through pages, but let's start the top clock right now and begin with what happened in episode 307. So timeline wise, it continues from the events of 306, with the first moments of the episode being Jace running from Clary on the rooftop scene. So as you know, at the end of 306, this is where Clary, Luke, and Magnus find out that Jace is the owl. So the episode continues with Jace having to seek refuge on the rooftop, but Clary following after him. And this results in Jace dropping Clary over the rooftop and her falling to very dangerous depths. So with that clarified, a huge episode reminder, I probably flipped the two around, was pretty much caging Jace, as well as some flashbacks that we got to see. So with that said, storylines though for 307 came out to being, first one having to deal with Alicante, second one being about finding Ollie, which would mean finding Lilith, and then the flashbacks. So with the first storyline really for Alicante, just know that Clary, Alec, and Izzy head to Alicante to grab the Malachi configuration, which is supposed to be a weapon that can trap a greater demon, which is what they want to use to trap Jace the Owl. Meanwhile, the owl, Jace, is being sent to Alicante to get Valentine's flesh for the resurrection ritual that Lilith needs to put on for Jonathan. So there's that. Also, second storyline was finding Ollie and Lilith. We have Luke recruiting Simon to help him try to track down Ollie, going off of her leads, which led them into this abandoned building. I think it was a former church, where they do come across the altar. They find Ollie there as possessed, and we do see Lilith kind of creeping in the shadows. But also in this episode, just want to point out that the characters get a name for it. They actually named Lilith as being the Queen of Edom and the first wife of Adam. So there's that. And the third storyline has to do with flashbacks, and that's mainly flashbacks between Maya and Kyle, aka Jordan Kyle. And these are flashbacks to when they first met, to when he got scratched, to when he turned Maya into a werewolf. And this is all around the time, I'm assuming, when she's 17 or 18, because she was, at least, because she was celebrating the fact that she was getting into a post-secondary education with a scholarship for marine science, which I was going to mention later. So that's the storyline. So the last scene of the episode was Clary getting escorted through the halls of Alicante after being caught in the dug-up grave of Valentine, since she was covering for Jace. So with that, character-wise, though, for this episode, we do see the return of Imogen. And it is assumed that she was killed by the owl in this episode. But Clary, Alec, and Izzy went to her in hopes of her helping them get the Malachi configuration without alerting the Clave. A second person, we actually put a face to the name of Consul Penhollow. She makes a reference to Michael Rayhorn of the Brussels Institute. So there's that. We also see the return of werewolf by the name of Bat as he checks in on Maya at some point in the episode. Also, we see a possessed version of Ollie, who is the 33rd disciple. We also see Samantha overwhelmed by Ollie's absence, and we do see the return of Katerina as well, which is Magnus's werewolf friend. So there's that. Now, runes, though, for this episode, we see the rune used to send a fire message in action when Imogen sends one to Alec in her last moments from the looks of it. And also we see Clary's portal rune make a return once again. Now, tidbit-wise for the episode, I have that in the flashback we had confirmation that Maya had a scholarship for Rutgers for marine science, which Jordan was a little peeved about. Also, we see Simon Mark attacking a few of the disciples and it having a very devastating effect on Lilith as she was able to feel their disintegrations. Also, we'll find out, we don't know why specifically, but Lilith needs Valentine's flesh in order to resurrect Jonathan. And I believe that's all the tidbits I've written down. So yeah, so let's move on to 306, or 308, my bad. So timeline-wise, this episode continues straight from where 307 kicks off, which a huge reminder for the episode being we dive into Jace's subconscious to try to free him. But the first scene of the episode was Luke and Simon continuing to look for Ollie within that abandoned church, I'm believing, and just before they find her, Lilith uses her magic to move the altar as well as Ollie to another location before they could be discovered. So there's that with the first scene. Storyline wise though, 3 different storylines. We have the first one being finding the real Jace within his possession, second one being Clary's trial in Alicante, and the third one being finding the altar, or Lilith's altar. So with the first storyline, with the owl being caged up, Magnus uses his powers to get Alec and Izzy to find the Jace trapped inside of his own subconscious by drawing from the Parabatai rune. So you have them try to figure out how to do that. Second storyline is that Clary is on trial with the Soul Sword, where she's forced to tell the truth, and she unwillingly admits to Jace being possessed, and then Jace being resurrected by Raziel's one wish, and stuff like that. And the third storyline is finding Lilith's altar was when Simon, Maya, and Jordan, I'm still going to call him Kyle though because I'm used to it, but the 3 of them go back to that abandoned church and they end up finding the altar with all this amalgamations of blood, and they take off the lid and they find out that there are symbols attached to it that are meant for a demonic resurrection ritual. So there is that. Last scene of the episode was, I believe, Clary getting sentenced by Council Penhallow to death for her crimes. So there's that. So character-wise, though, I do have that we see the return of Brother Enoch as he begins Clary's trial. Again, with Council Penhallow being the questioner or for Clary and trying to evoke some truthful answers from her. Also, we see Ollie again being possessed, but now she's kind of like the right-hand person of Lilith while Owl Jace is away. Also, with Jordan Kyle, we see him bring up some things from the past with Maya, try to give her some reminders of the fact that he has changed, which confuses Maya a lot. So there's that. Also, we see the return of Maris Lightwood, and Luke reaches out to her so that she could reach out to Anna Marie Highsmith, who was Robert's mistress, but Maurice reaches out to her because she is a contact in Alicante that Luke could use to get information about Clary's status there, since only Shadowhunters could go there. And also, this episode confirms Imogen is dead. So there is that. Runes for the episode, though, had the unlocking rune was used a few times on Clary's shackles, and also we see the Parabatai bond rune being used once again between Jace and Alec. Tidbit-wise, though, we do see moments of, I guess you can kind of count this as a fourth storyline, but we do see Lilith traveling to the Seelie realm to confront the Seelie Queen. Also, I didn't realize it until this episode, but the Seelie Queen, played by Lola Flannery, she plays Maddie on the 100 in season 5. So I kept, for some reason, the Seelie Queen looked familiar to me as Maddie, but when I saw Maddie, it didn't resonate the other way. And it could be the different applications to the Seelie Queen, but anyways, that's a way to connect the two. But anyways, we found out the Seelie Queen, don't know if it's this one or her predecessor, had granted Eve with Seelie Beauty, which was meant to be a form of revenge, I guess, against Lilith. And I guess that's why Lilith is referred to as Adam's first wife, as Eve would be his second. Also, we find out that Simon's mark is known as the Mark of Cain, and it is the only thing known to banish Lilith, and which makes sense because Lilith is connected to Adam and Eve are supposed to be the creators of Cain and Abel. So that's a connection there. Also, another surprising thing is that Enochian is the name of the demonic language, when on Supernatural I'm known for it being the symbol for the angel language. So there's that opposite there. Also, we find out that Maya needs space to process, so she plans to leave town for a few days. We also see Luke being determined to save Clary and Alicante, no matter the means. And also, we see Lilith making reference of not killing Magnus because she fears it could start a war with his father, Asmodeus. So there is that. Yep, that's it. So let's move on to the most shocking moment of the episode. I would have to say that for 307, my most shocking moment would have to be Clary actually falling off the rooftop and actually landing on the car roof. I had hoped that since Magnus was still in the area, that maybe he could use his powers to kind of catch her with magic or lighten her fall or something, but then to have Clary just drop on the roof and then claim that she can't move, which is realistic, to be honest, which I'm glad for, but it was just shocking that there was no supernatural advantage to kind of lessen her fall. So that was a shock there in itself. So there's that. And also with 308, my shocking moment would have to be Clary's sentencing to death. I mean, she's done many things, but apparently because they're so against the old ways of the Shadowhunters, she's going to be punished for that, which sucks. So there's that. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments, let's go with 307, finding the page. Yes. First favorite moment I wrote down was the scene between Alec and Clary. Clary, mainly because she confesses to Alec that she lied to him, and you can see how really badly she feels for it. And then Alec's reaction, instead of him lashing out at her, he took her in his arms and told her that he would have done the exact same thing. This moment really shows how far the two of them have come, since at the very beginning of the series, Alec despised Clary. And it was just great to see that in this moment where she truly felt the blame on herself, he didn't add to it. He just wanted to take that pain away for her, even for a moment. So I really appreciate that moment between them. Second favorite moment, I have to say, is between Maya and Jordan Kyle, mainly with the flashbacks and just seeing the story behind them and the progression, and then also getting them in the present day and just seeing that contrast between them and just seeing how the events of the flashbacks have truly affected them in the present and how it affected them. It was really great to see, and it was greatly emotional. A lot of baggage there for them, and it was just great to get some ounce of closure for the two of them there. And another favorite of mine for the episode was the Malachi configuration being able to trap Jace. I also like how it was implemented, how you needed the 3 swords in place to trap Jace, although I only saw the 3 swords since Alec, Izzy, and Clary managed one, but you would need a 4th in order to create the square cage he was in. But I really like the idea behind it. I really like that it was able to hold Jace. So I'm glad at least that machination worked for them. So I'll leave it at that. And then the 4th favorite I have to say would have to be Clary calling Simon after she fell off the rooftop and just telling him like, I need you, I can't move type of a thing. And he just dropped everything to rush to her and get to her. Kind of surprised she didn't call Luke or Magnus, since they would have been in the vicinities closer to her if that events of that confrontation did happen immediately after the reveal in 306. So it was just great for Clary and to call Simon, and then also to have them have that best friend moment later on at the Institute. So moving on to favorites for 308, I would have to say that my first favorite would have to be the scenes in Jace's subconscious, where Alec, Izzy, and Jace not only try to find each other, but then when they're confronted with each other, the true emotional power of their presentations was so great, so powerful. You could feel how much torture Jace has been in, how much it's truly affecting him, and then him begging them to help him, to free him of this, and then have his words affecting Izzy and Alec the way that they did, because Jace is usually so strong, so held together with his emotions on the outside, and this is just, he can't do it anymore. It was very powerful, very emotionally moving. We got to see the younger versions of them, which was pretty cool as well. So I got to say that this one counts as 2. But my next one would have been the fact that Simon, Maya, and Kyle were able to find and discover the resurrection ritual. It was great to see them realize what that altar was for. They just had to figure out who it was meant for, but I'm glad that they were able to figure out that piece of the puzzle there. So from that, let's move on to top 3 peeved moments. For 307, I have to say a peeve of mine was the fact that Clary wasn't able to portal away with the rest of them, and she got caught by the guard in Alicante. I didn't understand why she had to stay behind. She was able to move the portal so that it engulfed Jace, Izzy, and Alec, but I don't get why she couldn't include herself in that too and escape with them. I mean, why does she have to buy time? I mean, none of them knew that they were in Alicante, and the owl had killed Imogen, who knew the real purpose of why they were there. So it's like, why did she have to stay behind to get caught? So that was the only peeve for that right there. I did also have another peeve to the fact... Did I? Yeah, I also had another peeve of the fact that Clary's miraculous recovery from falling off that rooftop. She made it clear that she couldn't move. She could barely move her hand enough to make a phone call. But, like, she was in a very dire situation. The peeve of mine is the fact that in the next time we see her, she's completely on her feet as if she didn't just fall from a rooftop. Peeve being, I don't know how she recovered. Is it because Simon fed her some blood? Does it have healing properties of some sort? Was it because they enacted the Eratzi rune and that's why? Was it because Magnus used some magic to kind of boost her healing capabilities? Or what happened to get Clary back on her feet again? I mean, that's a peeve right there, because I just don't, from one jump to another, it's just like, how the hell did that happen? So there's that. Moving on to 308, though, the peeve that I have was, 1, Clary couldn't influence the soul sword. She mentioned that the last time she touched it, she dampened its power, yet it bugged me that she was still able to not fight the effects of the soul sword. I thought she would have been able to, especially since she has had the ability to dampen its power before. So it just bugged me that she was still under the control of the soul sword. Another peeve I had was the fact that Lilith got her hands on Jace once again. So there's that. And also another peeve of mine, which I guess kind of goes into a question, was while I'm glad that Simon, Maya, and Kyle were able to find the altar at the abandoned church, I'm confused because didn't Lilith move that to like a penthouse location so that it couldn't be detected by Luke and Simon earlier on in the episode? I don't understand that. So a peeve there, because I don't understand how it could be in one place and then move down to the next without no one monitoring it. So there's that. But moving on to episode reminders, or what will I remember most from this episode. For 307, I'll remember Clary confessing to Alec about Jace being resurrected and then being possessed. That one for sure. And then for 308, I will remember the fact that they were able to not only trap Jace, but also enter his subconscious to try to find the real Jace and free him from the owl. So there's that. So let's move on to questions that I have. So for 307, I think I only had the one question if I find it. Yeah, my one question was, when under Lilith's control, can Jace access his pure angel powers? You know, when his eyes flash that yellowy golden color, and then he takes on that extra ability where he's able to activate his runes without a stele. I'm wondering if he can access those when the owl is in control, or if that's just left dormant with the Jace that's stuck in his subconscious. So there's that question for 307. But for 308, I had the question of, do none of the Shadowhunters realize that it's not Raziel's wish to have Downwonders destroyed, as he told Valentine in the season 2 finale? Because Council Penhollow talked about how everyone had saved that one wish from Raziel for the time that if the world ever got overrun by demons, they could use it to cleanse the world, which is kind of like their failsafe. But when Raziel was summoned, he had told Valentine that it's not the wish of his or of heaven to wipe those of the downworld with a soul. If I remember vaguely, I would have to check the quote. But I'm wondering if, now that people know that Clary talked to Raziel and shared what he said, if they would feel differently about the situation or not. Because that's the reason why they wanted to keep that wish, is not what the angels wanted to enact, from my understanding. So there's my question there. But that's about it. So based off the promo, for predictions, let's go with that. But based off the promo for the next episode, it is actually going to be 2-hour mid-season finale. So that's going to be episode 309 and 3010. So with that, with the finale, you saw Heidi threatening Simon's family, exposing him as a vampire as well. We also see Magnus traveling somewhere with a ring of fire. It also looked like Lilith needs Valentine's flesh and Clary's heart in order to continue with the resurrection spell. So there's that. But from the synopsis of 309, it says that Clary faces down an old foe in an attempt to find answers about Lilith's plan. Alec and Magnus turn to Lorenzo Ray for help while Lilith finds a new ally. Luke must choose between his pack and his family as Simon is forced to deal with his past. So that's for 309. And then for 3010, it reads that in the climactic mid-season finale, the team scrambles to find a way to put a stop to Lilith's plan coming to fruition, but going up against their biggest opponent yet, their odds are not looking good. Meanwhile, Simon makes a heartbreaking choice with Isabel's help, and Magnus reconnects with a powerful person from his past. Ooh, okay. So with that said, they did release 3 sneak peeks for 309. First one showed Magnus telling Alec that he's going to eat him to see Asmodeus, need his help to infuse himself with enough magic that he can use against Jace to cleanse him. Second one showed Magnus researching a possible way to help Jace, and he's telling that to Alec and Isabel. And the third one was Jordan Kyle giving Simon information about his mark, and they know that it's called the Mark of Cain, and it ends it there. So there's that. Also, with 309 kind of alluding to the fact that Magnus is going to eat him, 310 kind of alludes to the fact that Magnus doesn't see his father until the following episode. So that is going to be interesting there, because that's going to be very interesting to see those two together. But yeah, the Simon's heartbreaking choice, I feel like that's going to have to be connected to his family if Heidi does something against them for that. But that's about it, guys. I have no idea what to expect for the 2-hour mid-season finale. But what do you guys think of these 2 episodes? What do you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, theories, and opinions about what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I reblog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place, so go check that out. I am behind on updating. Hopefully, once the mid-season finale airs, I can get back and catching everything up. But also, check out my WordPress account. The link for that is down below. Everything I post online is connected through my WordPress account. It is more organized, but it's still a work in progress, so please keep that in mind. So that's about it, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next week to see what to say about the next 2 episodes, being the mid-season finale. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.